live in Facebook. I'll just give you the cue. If it goes live in Facebook, I'll just give you the cue.
Okay. Good afternoon to everybody. I am grateful to the organizer for giving me this opportunity to share my ideas. Now, as time is short, what I am going to do is, I am just going to hit the fundamentals. The fundamentals means like, what do you mean by intelligence? How can you define artificial intelligence? How does it differ from human intelligence? That has to be understood. Then I am just going to hit, why do you need automation? What is the role of robotics in automation? And how can AI help to develop the intelligent and autonomous robots? And in turn, how can AI help to establish the automation in industries? Now, let me start with the very definition of your intelligence. Now, the term intelligence that was introduced long back, like the Greek civilization, Egyptian civilization, Aristotle, Rene Descartes, Thomas Bayes. And this artificial intelligence that became very popular in the year 1956, when the DARPA project was actually got sanctioned. Now, this DARPA project is Defense Advanced Research Project Agency, and the aim of that particular project is to develop the intelligent and autonomous robots. But suddenly, there was a drop in the interest of AI, and once again AI has become today's AI with the introduction of deep learning neural network. Now, what I am going to tell you is what is AI and how does it differ from the human intelligence. Let me take a very simple example. The example is very hypothetical. Now, supposing that one unexpected incident has come, there was a murder case. So, what will happen? There will be investigation and the policeman will be asked to investigate. Now, supposing that the policeman could not find out the possible murderer, what could be the next step? The policeman is going to take the help of one sniffer dog, and might be the sniffer dog will be able to find out the possible murderer. Now, you see, the policeman could not solve the problem, but the sniffer dog could solve it. So, how can you train a sniffer dog? That human policeman is going to train that particular dog to perform this particular task. The artificial intelligence which is in the head of that sniffer dog could beat the human intelligence, that is the policeman, to find out who could be the possible murderer. So, this AI has beaten the human intelligence. Now, I am taking another example. Take a very small, very simple arithmetic, 2 plus 3 equals to how much? You ask the policeman, within a fraction of a second, he will say it is 5. You ask the sniffer dog, it will not be able to answer. So, your AI will fail, but the human intelligence is going to win. So, what the conclusion I am going to draw, do not compare AI with HI. So, they are complementary, they are helping one another, and to solve the real world problem, try to take the help of either HI or AI or a combination, and our aim is to solve the real world problem. Now, this real world problem, like the automation, if you want to survive in dynamic and competitive market, what are the things you need? You need increased productivity, improved product quality, reduced cost. Now, you see, some of these particular objectives are contradicting, they are fighting with each other. So, how to get all? If you want to get all three, increased productivity, improved product quality, reduced cost, there is no way out, but you will have to go for automation. And this automation, it could be hard automation, it could be flexible automation. All of us, we know the mass production, batch production and piece production. For the mass production, we will have to go for hard automation. For batch production, it is the flexible automation. And for job production, piece production, we should not go for automation. Now, robotics is an example of flexible automation. And that is why the robots or the robotics have become so much popular in today's industry to incorporate the concept of automation, so that the industry could be in competition in the dynamic and competitive market. Now, how to develop the intelligent robot, autonomous robot, emotional robot. And truly speaking, there is a difference between intelligent robot, autonomous robot and emotional robot. I am just going to tell you in short the difference. A robot is called intelligent if it can take the decision as the situation demand. It is called autonomous if it has got the permission to act in an intelligent way. And emotion, the robot should have emotion, because we human being, whenever we take any decision, it is a combination of intelligence and emotion. So, our action is a combination of intelligence and emotion. So, if you want to replace human being by a robot, by copying his head, copying his hand, copying his heart, so you will have to go for designing and developing intelligent, autonomous and emotional robot. And that is actually the trend we are moving towards. And how to make the robot intelligent, how to make it autonomous, how to make it emotional. It is with the help of AI only you can get all three. Now, I am just going to tell you how to use AI to make the robot intelligent, autonomous and your emotional. So, what I can do is, supposing that I am just going to take a very simple example. I am just going to develop one robotic soldier, which we are doing. In fact, I am the main person. DRDO is developing the robotic soldier. So, what you will have to do? The robotic soldier is going to fight in a very hostile environment. There will be ups and downs, the staircases sort of thing, ups and downs, a very rough terrain. Now, this humanoid robot is going to perform its task by maintaining the dynamic balance. Maintaining dynamic balance is very difficult for a humanoid robot, and the energy consumption should be as minimum as possible. So, I will have to find out one optimal design for the robot. So, how to find out the optimal design of the robot? So, you will have to go for the nature inspired optimization tool. I am also a proposer of very new and very recent nature inspired optimization tool, for which I have got the copyright also in 2022. That is might be the best in the world as on today. That is called the Bonobo optimizer. So, using this nature inspired optimization tool, we can find out a very optimal design for the robot, which can perform the task by consuming the minimum energy after maintaining the dynamic balance. So, for getting the optimal design, we can use AI tools, that is the nature inspired optimization tools. We will have to find out the information of the environment. How to find out? With the help of our eyes, we collect information of the environment. Information goes to our brain. There is lot of processing, same type of processing robot has to do. So, robot is going to collect information with the help of camera. The data is full of error, lot of imprecision, uncertainty, and that data are to be analyzed to find out the information of the environment. Now, supposing that the robot has got the information of the environment, now in the brain the planning has to be done. That is nothing but the motion planning. For example, there is a staircase, I will have to make the plan, I will have to make the gate plan, the sequence of the leg movement with respect to the other part of the body, that has to be planned according to the the surface of the ground. And that planning is supported by the gate planning. And once this motion plan, gate plan has been done using the AI tools, for example, fuzzy reasoning tool, neural networks. Nowadays, we people are using deep neural network very frequently. Okay? And once you have done that particular thing, now you'll have to make it emotional. How to make the robot emotional? Once again, we can take the help of reasoning tool, fuzzy reasoning tool. Our brain most of the time works based on neural networks, based on the fuzzy logic. And we get some training with the help of some nature inspired optimization tool. So what you'll have to do? You'll have to artificially model the human brain so that it becomes intelligent, autonomous and emotional. Exactly the same thing you'll have to inject to the head of a robot. And it is only with the help of AI we can go for that. So, to be in short, like we need intelligence, we need autonomy, we need emotion planning, and it is the AI tools which are required to get that particular the intelligent, autonomous and emotional robot. Here I am just very quickly, I am just going to show you a few robots and products which we have developed at IIT Kharagpur in my lab, Center for Robotics, IIT Kharagpur. So, this is one robot. This is used in steel plant. You can see that, say in a molten bath, there is molten metal, and at the top of the molten metal there is a slag. You will have to remove the slag manually. So, we are using a manual lever. So, in one of the steel plant, they told we are facing lot of problem because human operator do not want to go there. So, there we can use, we develop this particular robot, the 6-legged robot, and there is a serial manipulator mounted at the top. Now, here I can just keep one equipment with the help of how much? 2 minutes. So that we can remove that particular slag. This is one agriculture robot which has been designed and developed by us, and we have filed the patent also. So, this robot can go to the field, collect information of the plants, decide whether it is suffering from disease A or B or C, accordingly select the pesticide and spray it in the field. So, as time is short, I am just going to show you only a few. So, this is one railway track inspecting robot. There is a crack on the railway, okay, and this particular robot is going to take the snap, do image analysis. The moment it finds a crack, it will just stop. With the help of GPS, it is going to go to the location. You go and see there could be a crack there. So, this type of robot which we have developed, and now we have also filed patent for that. This is a drone, this is a conventional drone, but now we are working on self-morphing drone. Depending on the requirement, it is going to squeeze and it is going to expand. Okay? It's a very unique type of drone which are developing now. This is orthotic device. Disabled people cannot stand, cannot walk. This type of orthotic device. This is a prosthetic device. So, artificial limb amputated. So, there we can use this type of the artificial limb. In all the products, we are using the principle of AI. Okay? So, without AI, we cannot proceed further. So, to come to the conclusion that modern industries must include intelligent robots, and to develop this intelligent, autonomous and emotional robot, the use of AI is a must in the form of optimization tool, in the form of input-output modeling tool, either in the form of fuzzy logic or in the form of your neural networks. So, these are the books which I have written. You can see this is the textbook on robotics written by me. This is artificial intelligence. This has been translated in Chinese language also, and it was published from India and UK. There are so many such your reference books which I have edited, and PhD thesis, a large number of PhD, 25 PhDs I have guided, and now 12 are working. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for your patience.
Thank you very much, Professor. What we will do is at the end, we will take questions.
Yeah.
So very interesting session. We started from how a sniffer dog is taught in terms of looking for the murderer and then getting into intelligent, autonomous and emotional components of robotics and how AI plays into it. So the next speaker would be Hasui-san. I think he will be over video. Is he on? Good evening, Hasui-san. I hope you can hear us.
Hi, good evening.
Okay, can you hear us?
My voice is clear? My voice clear? Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. And I will hand it over to you for the next 10, 12 minutes.
Can you see my screen?
No. Yeah, now we can see.
Just a sec. Can I stop? Okay, thank you. Namaskar, Bengal. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for coming to today's presentation. Hello? Okay, this is Takuji Hasui, and I work for Fujisoft Incorporated, Japan. Today, I'm going to talk about robotics and automation, including our experiences and what we are doing now in Bengal. Automation and robotics are two distinct technologies, but the terms are often used interchangeably. Together, they have transformed the manufacturing space. Formerly time-consuming duties are now fully automated with minimum operator input, and robots are taking over more labor-intensive and hazardous tasks from humans. More manufacturers than ever before are turning to automation and implementing robotics to remain competitive in the global market. Small businesses and large companies alike are now increasingly relying on robotics and automation to free human laborers' repetitive tasks and boost productivity. With affordable industrial robotics that are safe to work alongside humans, integrated with computer vision, utilize machine learning, and equipped with soft touch grippers. The many benefits of robotics and automation are growing every day. Some of the benefits are increased efficiency, increased safety, cost saving over a period of time, more data-driven, reduced waste, and freeing workers from tedious and menial jobs. Dozens of companies are looking for methods to employ robotics and automation to better their business model, whether it's because of the COVID-19 pandemic, labor shortage, or supply chain issues. Everything from how people move to how their favorite things are made is affected by automation and robotics. In the coming years, they will embark on some intriguing new ventures with some of the most cutting-edge applications in healthcare, manufacturing, construction, agriculture, customer service, e-commerce, and many more sectors. The field of robotics is transforming multiple sectors at a rapid pace. However, it's still not advancing at pace experts imagined. This slow growth in the field of robotics can be attributed to the challenges the industry faces, Some of the challenges we all know are programming, the cost, limited flexibility, employee resistance, better power sources, and repair and maintenance. However, having said that, researchers across the world are changing how to overcome these limitations and challenges. The use of several modern technology combinations to create highly flexible, self-adapting manufacturing capacity known as the smart factory. For instance, businesses like manufacturing and distribution will develop greater intelligence as robots do. Assembly lines will benefit from industrial robots and automated solutions, and smart factory will become the norm. According to the report from McKinsey, automation machine will see a shift in the way we work. They predict that across Europe, workers may need different skills to find work. Their model shows that activities that require mainly physical and manual skills will decline by 18% by 2030, while those requiring basic cognitive skills will decline by 28%. We may also see robots as a more integral part of our daily routine. In our homes, many simple tasks such as cooking and cleaning may be totally automated. Similarly, with robots that can use computer vision and natural language processing, we may see machines that can interact with the world more, such as self-driving cars and digital assistants. Let me give you a brief introduction about our experience of robots and automation. The Paro project started in the early 2000s when we decided to demonstrate our technical capacities through a robot. Today, we are very proud that Paro is playing an active role in the society and is one of the most sought after robots in the senior care. It has 36 different neural components like motion sensing, voice recognition, face recognition, speech synthesis, moving detection, and so on. These are some of the use cases of Paro in the Japanese market. I'll also explain what we are doing now in Bengal. Weber Foodstuff Tabara, Center of Excellence Industry 4.0, or COE, an initiative of the government of West Bengal, which has been set up by the Department of IT&E and Department of MSME&T through its nodal agency, Weber, West Bengal. The COE aims to foster skill building, academic excellence, and future-ready talent development in the area of data science, cybersecurity, 3D manufacturing, and embedded systems, IoT. The objective of the COE is to provide students, professionals, and new age entrepreneurs with high-quality education on emerging technologies to upscale their competitiveness and develop industrially highly skilled professionals and technopreneurs. It has set up with several global organizations and leading technology companies: Intel, NVIDIA, Data Source Systems, Stratasys, Trend Micro, Fortinet, IMI Israel, Think Cyber Israel, Boston Training Academy, and Boston IT Solution, to name a few. The COE provides a complete ecosystem for developing talent. The courses entail case studies, real project, as well as capstone project brought by the corporates. Also, the course is industry certified in order to ensure they are meeting the requirements of the market and enhancing employability. Training is offered in various formats, which include on-premises and online courses. However, we stress doing 70% hands-on learning and work on our labs. We would like to invite companies participating in this event today to use this offering from the COE to work together for future fit talent. Lastly, on behalf of the COE, I would like to invite everyone attending today's event to join for this forthcoming free workshop on ISO 27001. Please do visit our booth on spot registration. Thank you for your time and patience. For any queries, my colleague, Mr. Debas Masvidal, who is the country head from Fusoft, will be at COE booth to answer your queries. Thank you for listening.
Thank you very much, Sui-san. I think one of the key areas in today's world of AI, robotics, connected systems, is that everyone wants to do that, but there is a serious dearth of talent in the market. And it was great to see the approach that you and your organization have taken in terms of building through the COE the capability and the skills in this part of the world. So thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
So with that, can we move to Mr. Pramanik, please, into the interesting world of smart utility services.
Good afternoon, everyone. So today, the topic given to me is smart utility services. Now, I think everyone knows about what we talk about or what we mean by smart utilities, right? Smart utilities are those which we use which we take services for our daily usage, like gas, like water, like telecommunication, like waste treatment, and so is also power. So today I'll kind of take you through a few areas where the smart utility services are being utilized for power sector. I represent RPSG group, specifically the power group companies. But again, not necessarily that whatever I'm trying to talk about here is done for CESC or at RPSG. It is an overall generic view that I'm trying to give it here. So basically, over the years, the power businesses thrive on two different inputs. One, if it is in the residential areas like rural or urban, it is on how you basically improvise your input costs and how you provide a better or more improved customer services. And on the other side, the real growth is seen when you have or when you are covering industrial areas, so as to say. So today I'll try to cover some of the areas where either we are working within RPSG or the industry is working in basically the residential that may be either rural or urban areas. The areas that we are working is basically to reduce cost, or the loss I would say, and hence the operating cost is around transmission and distribution losses, lowering them obviously. The faster and smoother customer experience, be it around new connections, be it around any service disruptions that you get, be it around commercials like billing, or be it around any additional services that you might require. And obviously on the upstream side, the industry is also trying to automate the preventive maintenance specifically by reducing the cycle time of the maintenance. To touch upon the areas of improved customer service, I'll take a couple of example areas to make it easier to comprehend. Is in yesterday's or even in the current world, let's say you need a new connection and you apply for a new connection to a power utilities organization. So for them, there are certain regulatory checks that they need to do at a minimum level. Now, if you're doing that over ages using manual methods of checking, simply let's say you have to check whether the application from where it has come for new connection, does that premises or does that building have got any other connection? Is there another connection in the same name? Today we verify that with any authentication method, be it Aadhaar or anything. What kind of connection does it have? And a few other things. Now it takes, if you do it manually, few hours over few days. While the elapsed time could be few days, actual effective time could be few hours. Now if you introduce simple automation methods of robotic process automation for a repetitive work like this, you can possibly do this over a few minutes. If the data that you want is available with you, that's a matter of few minutes that you can authorize a new connection. And even such data, let's say in a center, in a manual, you have come to a center and you are applying a physical paper. So when you take a token in the queue, let's say there are 10 people before you, you are 11th. Now when you get in the center and you key in what you want for, it's a new connection, and you get a token. By the time your number turns up, at the back end, the information system retrieves all the required data based on your application, which you might have already keyed in, and is ready for a decision when you reach the counter. Obviously, taking into the upstream and the downstream sides of it, there are introductions of smart metering systems, which allows the organizations or the operators to keep a close tab on the usage pattern of the consumer. On the other side, the consumer can also see what is his or her usage pattern over the day, over the night, or over the month, or over the year. By introduction of smart meters, the process of remediation or let's say disconnection of a location movement or non-payment of bills or reconnection in case of payment of arrears, all are done sitting in the office. So these are huge benefit in terms of the time, effort, savings, and also for the customer, if let's say for some reason you had been out and you didn't pay, your line got disconnected, if we can introduce smart meters, your line can be connected or reconnected in a matter of seconds. Within India, multiple DISCOMs have already introduced that, and internationally, it's a norm practically. Obviously, multiple data collection and its usage, data collection obviously through sensors, through IoT platforms, and its usage to optimize the operating parameters is a norm now. It is nothing special or specific for utilities. It is a norm now, possibly for any manufacturing or industrial unit. We heard Mrs. Das earlier that that what L&T is doing today. So it is nothing abnormal that any organization today which has got any moving parts will introduce sensors and pick up data for improvisation of the operating parameters. Specific to power, a few things are happening today is every country, and so is India, is in a national grid infrastructure. What does that mean is any power generating unit from any source, thermal power, that is coal, hydel power, or renewable energy, it adds up to the national grid. And depending on your capacity to buy, if you are not a generating unit, if you are only a distribution authority, you can buy power from the national grid and distribute amongst your consumers, right? This happens under a tremendously highly regulated platform managed by respective governments. Local state governments as well as central government, as well as multiple regulatory authorities are involved in it. So the combination of the grid modernization and automation and management is an integral part how the current power utility organizations are managing their operations. So these are the certain areas where in today's world the automation is happening in the power utility sector. And some of the benefits that we can see are increased operational efficiency, improved reliability and outage management, obviously enhanced customer satisfaction, cost savings through optimized resource allocation, and obviously environmental sustainability. Let's say I give another example of customer satisfaction in specifically in any utility sector. When you want to reach out to the organization, earlier there was only probably you have to go to the office and report anything that you want is not working. Today there are 6 or 7 or more than 7 channels that I can talk of which any such organization is today utilizing. Today you can have a website, you can have a WhatsApp, you can have SMS, you can have email, you can have chatbot, you can have mobile app, you can have voice bot. And gradually those channels are increasing. So this not only kind of takes the consumer and the organization closer, but it reduces the time and further improves the customer satisfaction to an extent whenever you are trying to reach out to your operator, right? So these are the few areas where currently the organizations are working, and just a quick touch on some of the areas where mostly the Western world and in some areas here in India also some works are being done, is introduction of AI. Professor has spoken about that, and ML in predictive maintenance specifically, and in anomaly detection. We all need data today, and I don't need to talk about data is the new oil or so on and so forth. Obviously, the security is a huge concern in any of these initiatives, so as to say, because ultimately it makes you connected more and more closer to everything that you do, electronically connected. And the moment you get electronically connected and you use data for any of such improvisation, any of such analytics, you have to have much higher level of information security or cyber security around those. Today we are also allowing consumers, be it domestic consumers or commercial consumers, to have their own generation, specifically solar, right? And that integration is also happening in a big way in the industry today, that as an individual consumer, if you put a small solar cell on your rooftop, or let's say our airports, or let's say our factories where there are redundant space, redundant field, everyone today is deploying solar cells, right? Now, how do you utilize those? That's again, on one side is regulated, on the other side is the integration of the smart grid and the up and down, the upload and download of that power to make it a seamless experience of even the individual consumer. The tariff calculations are different, the way you can give to the grid and take back from the grid is different. So that calls for a pretty seamless, I would say, integration techniques and applications around. The term that is being used is called net metering. Obviously, the power utility sector is being impacted by the electric vehicles. While there are different discussions about the longevity or the real technology behind the vehicles, I'm not going to touch that, the lithium batteries or the, today, not even one battery is being manufactured in India. We all are importing every single battery which is there in the electric cars today, right? The disposal arrangement of those batteries, those are different techniques. But overall, how do you charge those electric vehicles is having an impact again on the way that today the power utility organizations are working. Their tariffs are differently calculated. The way that you can connect to the grid to charge your electric vehicle is different, separate or from your personal and individual residential consumption. As a technology, blockchain is also coming in a big way in
Mr. Pramanik, if you could just finish.
In this utility sector. Because of this multiple interactions between individual generators or generating organizations, the residential generations like solar cells or anything, the corporates around it, it's ultimately transaction. And we know that blockchain is a system that allows you a very legitimate but unrevertible transaction. So blockchain is coming in a big way in and making it a transparent in the energy transaction that is happening today. Basically, these all are very highly work in progress, I would say, in multiple Western countries, and some of them are also in India. So I just wanted to touch upon whatever is being done in this industry. Thanks. If there are any questions, I can post.
Thank you very much, and I'm sorry to rush you at the end. I think if you look at the four speakers that we had, I think the first three speakers spoke about the overarching concepts of AI, analytics, robotics, automation. Professor spoke about the fundamentals of AI and robotics. We had Mr. Pramanik speak about a particular industry vertical and the realms of possibility are significant in any vertical that you go through. The utility industry in India is still very regulated, but think of a day when this becomes unregulated. Mr. Pramanik will have more information about us, what we do, what time we come out, what house we've sold, whether we are moving to a new home. You have a phenomenal amount of data for us. So we spoke about a vertical, and how can we not end the session with an interesting topic on the platform. Anything that we do today is a platform. So a flexible platform concept, I will hand it over to you, Indranil.
Is it on now? So good afternoon. Am I audible? Is it on? Am I audible? Yeah, thank you. So for the last 45 minutes or so, there were some engaging discussions that we've all been hearing, and a few words. Now I was capturing a few words, okay? Now, as I'm going to talk about flexible platforms, words like connected systems, data, automation, I think all of these words, even AI, these all resonate with platforms. And we really can't talk about platforms which are not flexible, okay? So I was thinking of spending over the next 10 minutes or 12 minutes over the domain of electronic procurement, right? So electronic procurement, as we all know, started about more than 2 decades back in India. And at that point of time, it was more of transparency and efficiency that we were talking about. But today, if we look at e-procurement, it's not just an electronic procurement or an e-tendering application. It's more than that. So people who use platforms, they look forward to not only do transactions, but also derive values in terms of the needs that they have. So the first, okay, does it work or does it not work? Okay. So the first part of the story is that we have, let's say, an e-procurement platform on the cloud, a SaaS-based cloud-hosted platform, which in M-Junction we have got a platform which is named MJ Pro. So looking at it at the center, if we look at the connected ecosystem, the procurement ecosystem, we have got the buyers or the buyer community at the center. Apart from that, there is a huge there's a huge group of suppliers who are connected. So we have got a supplier base who gets connected to the platform, and then the suppliers who are getting connected, they need to transact with the buyers not only on their desktops, but also through their mobile devices. So the point of mobile app comes into play. Now whenever we talk about data, there's a lot of action on analytics. So which means, how do we mine the data properly, or how do we mine the data effectively to generate meaningful insights? I think that's one of the core areas where any user or a stakeholder of an electronic procurement system would look forward to. And there, data sanitization becomes very important. So once you have data, it's not only important to use the data effectively, but it's also more important to have sanitized data at hand. Today, if a platform works, if any organization uses a platform, it's not only one platform which works, right? So there are legacy systems, there are certain platforms or certain systems which have been developed in-house, there are certain system software which get bought out. So at the end of the day, when, let's say, let me take an example, in a shop floor, when a product is required or a requirement comes up, then typically an indent is created in the ERP, which could be any ERP. I'm not taking names, but it could be any ERP in the system. And when an indent gets created, it's very important for the indent to flow into the purchasing system where tenders get created and issued to the suppliers. Now, towards that, as the suppliers come back with a quotation or the suppliers come back with a response, it becomes very important for the data which got generated at the shop floor to get transferred seamlessly from one system to the other in terms of the back-end ERP to the legacy systems to the e-procurement platform to the suppliers and then back. And here integration becomes very important. So as far as integration is concerned, the supplier network is concerned, the buyer group is concerned, it's a connected place where people transact to create value or to add value to their businesses. And now to support this, it's not only IT. Okay, so there was one statement which the professor had made that there's a difference between AI and HI. Okay, similarly, all the actions cannot be totally driven by IT alone. IT can complement the human actions. So when a lot of IT systems are in place, transactions are in place, data is in place, there has to be a supporting infrastructure which would actually empower the users to use the IT platform in terms of a help desk, in terms of a training system, etc. So in a way, the smart and connected products actually, when we say that they allow the data to get exchanged, analyzed and create meaningful insights, analytics becomes very important. So this is just a snapshot of an analytics. I'll just spend less than a minute on this slide. So typically whenever any organization procures equipment, raw material for their end produce, it's very important for the leadership team to manage the spend in terms of how are they performing. And when we have a lot of transactional data all organized in a seamless fashion in terms of isolated boxes, I would use the term boxes, and if we have a very flexible and agile platform to cull out that data and get meaningful insights, it really brings up a lot of decision taking inputs. For example, which are my high spend areas? Is there any fraud going on? What sort of an ABC analysis can I do with my product? So all of these can be used, can be effectively used through analytics dashboard, which actually is there in MJ Pro. And since I'm talking about flexibility, it's very important that platforms are flexible. I'll talk about two stories, very short stories. It's not like a story, two small use cases, I would say, where the point of flexibility becomes very prominent. So today when we talk about flexibility, it's not about customization. Okay, so where there's a platform, and gone are the days where people used to deploy people, resources to identify each and every process and customize an application for a particular organization. So gone are those days, because nowadays people look at flexible platforms which are configurable maybe at the UI layer. Okay, so flexibility and configurability is something which is very, very important, and in fact I have myself experienced this while implementing MJ Pro as an e-procurement application in different organizations, that how important it is to have a platform which is configurable. Okay, and that gives you personalization. So it's not customization, it's more of personalization, which means you configure your flexible platform and personalize it to the extent that each of your organizations or customers would like it to be. So how am I doing on time? So I still have 5 minutes? Good, thanks. And when I talk about, let me then delve a bit deeper into flexibility. So an organization procures different types of items. Okay, it could be goods, services, it could be a mix of both, it could even be complicated project buys. So when I go, or when we go and implement an e-procurement application for any organization which is having complexities in project procurement, the first thing which comes to our mind is that how do we address the processes which are applied for each type of buy. Okay. For example, somebody who is importing certain things from abroad may have a particular template or a way of accepting the prices or the terms from the bidders, which could be vastly different from somebody who is buying something internally from the country, or which could even be different in terms of evaluation. The way I evaluate a product when I'm buying a product commercially and technically could be very different from the way that I would evaluate a services buy. Okay. And it could even be very different from the way that I buy different projects components when I'm implementing projects or buying some project items. And all of these have to be accommodated, I would say, in one single e-procurement platform. And that is something where flexibility kicks in. So if the platform is not flexible, the system will not work. And when we talk about flexibility, we also talk about convenience. We talk about coverage. When I say convenience, which means how easy is for a user to use the platform. If I talk about coverage, it is how flexible is my platform so that 100% of all my buys that I purchase throughout the year can be accommodated and bought on the platform. So this is one case study. It's a very interesting piece. So we had implemented an e-procurement application for the Ministry of Defence. So if you have to look at the scale, the scale is there right at the box left, the top left box in blue. 41 units, production factories, 5,000 buying executives, 15 to 18,000 suppliers, and the number of orders that they were issuing per year is close to 8,000. So that's the span, that's the extent of the application that we had implemented. And all of a sudden the pandemic started. So the Ministry of Defence, having 41 production units manufacturing arms and ammunition for the Indian Armed Forces, they were faced with a sudden need, and the need was very, very, very urgent. The turnaround time was very less. So they had faced with a sudden need to shift their gears from manufacturing arms to manufacturing equipment to support the Indian fight towards the pandemic, okay, in terms of making protective equipment, masks, sanitizers, and whatnot, fumigation equipment, etc. Now let's try to understand. It's very easy, to say that a group of factories which were manufacturing arms and ammunition are manufacturing the products which are required to fight the pandemic. But let's also try to understand and appreciate that all the processes which were in force to get the raw materials in while manufacturing arms had to be changed immediately in terms of adapting itself or adapting the processes to buying the raw material needed to manufacture these items in terms of emergency. The entire supplier base got changed. The template in which the products were, the RFQs were made got changed. The templates in which the quotations were submitted by the vendors got changed. The entire set of buyers and suppliers were new, they used to be trained. So all of these had to get accommodated on the platform in terms of flexibility, and as I was talking about a bit earlier, in terms of support, the help desk support to empower the stakeholders to work on the new environment. So that was a very, an example which I thought of sharing with you. And one final one, it is also something which has got to do with flexibility and adapting to the changed environment. So there was a huge implementation that was being made, e-procurement in the government of Bihar. 110 state governments, 2,500 buyers, 26,000 suppliers. So you can see the extent and the span of the implementation. The same thing happened right at the time of pandemic. The implementation suffered, and the entire way in which the implementation of the platform happened, every module, starting from implementing each functionality, everything got changed in terms of having the implementation mode shifted from a face-to-face one to a remote one. So I think, whatever I've written in terms of uninterrupted implementation, I think these are the IT enablers. I need not read them out. So I'm sorry if I'd been a bit fast, but I think I end here in terms of talking about flexibility. Thank you very
Mr.
much.
Chaudhary. I know we have just overshot our time by about 3-4 minutes. Is there any question? One question? Yes, please.
On behalf of this audience, this is an appreciation for all the organizing committee members and all the speakers who maintain time schedule of 30 speakers speaking in such a short time and elaborately explaining so many things. It is a lesson for us. I have been doing this type of jobs in earlier occasions in my earlier days, but not so preciously, so meticulously. I thank the BCCI and all the speakers here for keeping the time schedule. I appreciate this radio also for you and all your staff. Thank you very much.
Okay. So
Not my feeling of others also. I'm not speaking as Kundu only. I'm speaking on behalf of other participants.
So thank you very much. So with that, I personally would like to thank BCCI for giving me this opportunity to moderate this extremely wonderful session and privilege to be in the company of some august speakers, both present with me on the dais and Shuparna and Hasui-san in over the virtual mode. You got a glimpse into the worlds of connected ecosystem, AI, robotics. The realms of possibility are huge. Every day there is new things that are coming up. So once again, thank you very much, and thank you BCCI for having us here, and thank you audience for hearing all our speakers so intently.
So after this, we'll have a brief demonstration by, as I mentioned, students, young IT enthusiasts on their innovations, following which you were invited to the evening networking. But before we close this, I would request Mr. Mojumdar to please present tokens of our appreciation to the speakers on the dais. To Ms. Datta, we will connect with her. And also thank you, Mr. Takuji Hasui, who has joined us from Japan. And I would request Mr. Anindo Chatterjee, co-chairperson of our IT Entrepreneurs and E-Commerce Committee, to please present token of our appreciation to Mr. Devkumar Mojumdar. Mr. Mojumdar is also member of our IT committee. So we are closing this session here. You let me know before it goes relive, before you are